If you're wondering, how can I make money outside of a traditional job, then you're going to love this, because we're talking about one of the 10 ways that you can make money outside of your career. And today we're talking about digital products, which is very exciting. So far, we have run through two of the other methods. We run through freelancing and consulting. Now, when you listen to those, it might be that, like me, it felt too much like a job. It's too much like your corporate career that you already have. And you're thinking, I really want to change. I see all of these creative skills out there. I feel like I've got unused potential. I was very much like, I want to do something different. I want to use new skills. I want to see what I'm capable of building, of creating. So digital products and some of these other methods will really work for you. So out of the 10 methods that we're going to go through, 5 of them are going to take you into a completely different world. The world that you probably see influencers talk about but don't know much about, or the ones that you've toyed with the idea of but you don't know if they're right for you. And that's really what these short videos are about. So in this series, we did some research into people who've created digital courses. I can give you some of my experience with digital courses, and we can have a look at whether it would be suitable for you. So I'm going to talk about the pros first of all, and before we go on to some of the cons, and also some of the things that you need to have in place in order for it to work. So first off, digital products, it sounds idyllic because you create something once, whether it be a digital course or a guide or something, and you sell it over and over again. So there is no cap. You as many times as you can sell it, as many people as want it, as many people as you can get it in front of, for as long as it's relevant. And that's a key thing here, is how long is the thing relevant for? Then you can sell it. And you've probably seen some great examples. I mean, here on LinkedIn, where I'm talking right now, there's Justin Welsh, and Justin Welsh built a LinkedIn following and then sold a course of how to build a LinkedIn following. And I feel like there's a message in that story. You know, what he posted about and what he achieved, people then wanted to achieve the same thing. So he then sold them the course that gave them the result that they were also seeking. So you see here, there's got to be some relevance between your posting or your content and your audience building and who they are and what it is you're going to sell them in the end. Now, I've seen this work really well for other people as well. So one other example is if you're really close in the tech scene, there's a piece of software called Tableau. It's a data BI tool. And I know a lady who made an absolute killing here on LinkedIn selling Tableau courses. She basically posted all the time about new technique in Tableau. Look how I managed to build this graph. And everybody that wanted to learn the skills bought into the fact that she'd figured out how to do it. And then she then sold them the Tableau courses. A really great revenue model, absolutely fantastic. And a really great example of building a relevant audience for a relevant digital product. I'm going to give you a couple more examples and then we'll move on to some pros and cons. Another one is Dan Coe. Dan Coe, big influencer, huge following all across social media channels, but started on Twitter. And his thing was persuasive writing. He would write something in such a persuasive way that he would get people to rally behind the idea who believed in his concepts. And he did that on each channel and then sold a writer's course, because people were like, everybody raves about your content. We love your content. How do you write like that so persuasively? And he sold the writer's course. He turned that into a £4 million business. He's now doing other things with apps, but that's how he started. The key thing here, I want you to take note of this. And most of us who get this wrong, I was there. I got this wrong. I've had clients get this wrong. The key thing with digital products, you need to build the audience first. And that means you need a good 12 months run up of building the right audience, the people that are going to be interested in what you're going to sell. It also means you get to pre-validate the idea. So if you're thinking, I could do a course on this, I could do a course on that, great, hold off, don't do it right now. Go back to your ideas when you have built the audience that you think you can sell it to, and then ask them if they would buy it if you released it. Then go and record it, then get it shipped, and just, that's how you build it. So I guess that's one of the cons, isn't it? One of the cons is, unless you have an audience, you don't have anybody to sell to. And I've seen hundreds of digital courses sit there collecting dust who have been amazing courses and still not sell because of this audience gap. Ultimately, with digital courses, the profit margins are huge, but the price of a digital course is low. This is a low ticket product. Even the more expensive courses are quite low, because anything that goes into higher ticket, so into the thousands, you're looking at people who want some sort of one-to-one or group sessions involved, or some sort of live sessions involved. So it then becomes a hybrid model, which we can talk about in more detail. And that's really interesting because that's actually where a lot of the market is going. So digital products, digital courses, we're thinking small chargeable amounts, and going from there. So for example, I think Justin Welsh's course is like $97 or something. So we obviously covered some of the major pros already, but basically there is an unlimited amount of money you can make. You can keep on selling forever once you've built. You just have to keep doing sales cycles. Some people say it's completely passive, kind of, but you still have to promote it. You still have to do the sales and marketing on it. You just don't have to then deliver anything on top other than customer service if somebody can't log in. And then you've got the cons, which are things like you need to build the audience first. You have to validate the idea. And there is then going to be an upfront time cost and energy cost of creating whatever your digital product is. But it can work really, really well. Okay, let's finish off with 2 questions to help you validate if it's something that you really want to pursue. So first of all, what is this one thing or a few things that you teach or people come and ask you for help with that you could almost put into a process, a framework, or a step-by-step, and that you believe they would have paid for being shown how to do that? Question number 2, ask yourself honestly, am I prepared to build the audience before we get to work with this? Because that's a big one. This almost requires you saying, I'm prepared to be visible. I'm going to start posting online. And these are some big identity shifts. These are some big things that say, I'm almost getting closer into the influencer space, but in my domain. And am I comfortable with that? And I battled with that for a long, long time, being visible, not being used to social media, having to figure that out. And you know what they say, lean into the cards that you've been dealt. So if you come from a teaching background, you're great at presentations, you're great at showing up on camera, it comes naturally to you to teach, you understand a process and you can explain it clearly to people, then you're probably leaning naturally into doing this anyway. But if some of those things don't feel like second nature to you, then maybe some of the other income paths are something that is more relevant for you. Let me know in the comments what you thought, and I can't wait to join you for the next one. If you haven't already got it, I have a complete guide with all 10 income paths that we collected. You can grab it. It's in my featured section. See you soon.